Kelogish was a Friday Night Funkin' and Roblox content creator who was exposed for their predatory behavior. And unlike many of the situations I cover on this channel, this wasn't really one where there was much debate to be had. Screenshots were published from two different minors that came out against Kelogish. One of these minors was 14 when Kelogish was 18 years old. Kelogish was a grown adult who was texting someone who likely wasn't even in high school where they lived. Quite obviously, that would be very concerning, and the fact that in these chat logs you could see Kelogish asking them for explicit images, and noting that they'd received images in the chat, like a fucking idiot. Like, seriously, if you're going to do such disgusting behavior, why would you literally type it out and spell it out for anyone to just screen grab? You'd think that when risking your whole life, you'd be a little bit more careful. But to be fair, in their defense, they are a Roblox content creator, and because they produce content for kids, they don't really need to have much brain capacity. But sadly, that was not the only victim that came out against Kelogish. It was also exposed that in 2020, Kelogish was texting a 15-year-old inappropriately while he was 20. That behavior is downright predatory, there is no defense for it, and the fact he's a repeated predator says everything you need to know. The fact he knew the victims' ages when he was preying on them was basically conclusive. The only real argument he could have used against this was these messages are photoshopped. But he didn't. Props to the gross man, he just owned up to it. Don't get me wrong, he did make excuses and also tried to pass the blame as much as possible, but at least he was dumb enough to just own up to it, so now we have all the evidence to expose him. If you haven't seen that previous video, there's a lot more evidence I go over in it, but I have more good news in this video. Before I begin, however, if you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. I'm aiming for 100k in the next 2 years, and that's a goal only attainable with your support. Furthermore, if you'd like to support me financially, my Patreon will be down below. I appreciate any donations, and shoutouts will be at the end of each video from now on. That being said, I don't want to sidetrack this video for too long, so let's get right back into the depravity. It was noted in my last video that Kelogish's Roblox account had been taken down, which was something that Roblox doesn't commonly do as they aren't proactive in taking down people for behavior outside of the platform. That in itself was very odd because Kelogish was a creator with 500,000 subscribers. You would expect him to just continue posting and Roblox to not do anything to take down his account because they just couldn't be asked. But them and Discord decided to take action against him, which in general is pretty good news because it would mean that Kelogish is less likely to be able to prey on minors in the Roblox community. It would also mean that there were less games that he would be able to play focusing around kids to continue cultivating this child audience he could possibly exploit. Most people thought this was great news until they realized that Kelogish could just simply create Friday Night Funkin' content. And here's where I get all the comments telling me Friday Night Funkin' is not a kids game. A lot of kids are in the Friday Night Funkin' community. As such, Kelogish producing content around Friday Night Funkin' could allow Kelogish to exploit minors, which was a big concern. And because as far as I'm aware, Friday Night Funkin' is an offline game that you don't necessarily need an account to use, he could realistically just continue playing the game with no problems. And because his channel was still receiving such positive response despite his behavior, because his audience was so large, while these large allegations spread around his name, he just continued producing his content like nothing was happening every single day. The only time he actually even really properly addressed these allegations against him was in an interview with one of his ex-friends, Scrimzox, who I'm good friends with. Scrimzox published that interview and it was an absolute train wreck. It was uncovered by me while making this video that Scrimzox also decided to make a website that apparently answers a very important question I needed the answer to, so if you'd like to go visit that, I'm sure it'll help you. I'll play you some clips here because I feel like these clips accentuate every point against him perfectly.
It's not really a defense that you also were
I'm not
above
defending
18.
myself.
Yeah, but you said that you were also with people above 18. Like, the issue is that
multiple. Yeah.
The issue is that you were still open to kids.
But she was the only one just because I knew her in my head already. Like I didn't feel awful. And Discord makes this shit like where age doesn't hit as hard as in real life. Like it just didn't click with me at all. And that's what my dumbass mistake was. It just didn't click.
If you had a 14-year-old sister, would you be okay with them dating an 18-year-old?
Of course not. No, of course not. Of course not. But I didn't know back then. She was my first girlfriend. Like I didn't click it at all. It didn't click. She doesn't act like 14 at all. I talked to Kaneka about that. He said that sounds like grooming.
Because it fucking is.
Like obviously she doesn't really grasp what she's getting into because she doesn't have the cognitive functions to
I know that
consent.
now. I know that now. Not even now. I knew that 2 years ago. Like once all that shit went down, and my girlfriend like gave me like 50 hours of fucking pep talk
How do you
about all
know?
this shit.
Oh my god, Kelogish found the cure for grooming. Just give them a pep talk.
Oh, now I'm 21.
So only when you were 19 did you realize that kids can't consent.
No, that's not what I mean. Only 19 or yeah, only 19 was to figure out what I did was like so blatantly fucking stupid, like hurtful what I did. It didn't click back then. I only had Nadine as a like minor.
So like what do you think's gonna like happen
Happen?
regarding like the nudes being sent to like all these people and like received?
About that, I was just stupid. I didn't know back then. I really didn't.
At 19, you didn't know that it was wrong to send nudes to people that are like 14? What?
I'm not open to kiss. She was the only one just because I knew her, and that was my dumbass mistake.
Firstly, what the fuck? Just knowing a minor or being friends with them would never make it acceptable. I don't think anyone who's 19 would think that way fucking ever. Secondly, there's no justification for that. It's just being stupid. Teehee, minor mistake. Well, I mean, I guess it was a minor mistake because he was preying on minors, but it's not a mistake, bro. I genuinely can't put myself through any more of the pity fest of someone that groomed a minor, so I'm just gonna explain the fact that later on in the audio, they say they haven't been contacted by police yet, because that's a point I make later on in this video, and I'll leave it there. I'm now going to cut back to what I was saying in the footage that you watched at the start of the video before I went into the reaction section. One thing I'd like to very clearly highlight from these clips is the fact that at no point does Kelogish deny these claims against him. In fact, he openly does the opposite. Kelogish basically admits to everything, and while he notes that no police have contacted him, he plays this situation off like it's really not that bad, and that his girlfriend scolded him and now he's all good and better and will never do this again, which is a terrible, terrible mindset to have. Being put in the naughty spot for misbehaving isn't just going to make you not prey on minors anymore. This dude was a fully grown adult in his 20s when he was doing this behavior, and he did it multiple times while being an adult. There is no person on earth that can tell me that at 18 and 20 they did not see what was wrong with dating a 14 and 15-year-old. It's pretty self-explanatory. Dating a minor is wrong. I could waste time listing off all of the reasons it's not okay to date a minor, but I feel like that's probably fucking common sense, or I'd hope so at least. Seems Kelogish didn't get that memo. And I'll be completely 100% transparent with you, I don't believe your girlfriend giving you a little bit of a groan for it is going to stop you from fundamentally not seeing what's wrong with taking advantage of a kid. If you didn't realize already what was wrong with dating a kid, having a little argument isn't going to make you. But Kelogish seems to think that's a perfect excuse to just continue making child content and pretend that everything is okay. Well, it seems even YouTube didn't agree with how Kelogish was responding to this. Kaneko Kitten released a post yesterday highlighting the fact that Kelogish's YouTube account had been terminated. While results would still populate when you searched his name on Google, if you were to click into his channel, you would see that lovely little monkey holding a... what are they called? Mirror? No, not a mirror. Oh, magnifying glass. You would see that lovely little monkey holding a magnifying glass saying it can't find what you were looking for. And while normally this could be because a person took down their channel themselves, which is something you can do on YouTube, it was screenshotted that when you click one of Kelogish's videos, you will see this text. This video is no longer available because the YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated. And for once... good job, YouTube. It's good to see that the platform has actually taken action and removed Kelogish from their platform, not allowing him to prey on any more minors again. I wholeheartedly believe that YouTube should take this approach to many other creators on this platform that have done similar things. I think it's quite obvious to everyone that if you have a soulless content farm based around child content, building a community you can prey on, while simultaneously preying on minors at the same time, you don't deserve the platform you've cultivated, no matter how big it is, no matter how much work you've put into it. So, Kelogish is gone. And nobody has any idea why YouTube acted in this situation, but not many others. But we do have two predictions, and this is just theory, so don't take this as fact. It's highly likely that the police got involved and sent information over to YouTube, which led to YouTube taking action. This would make sense, as I saw Scrimzox note in their video that people have filed police investigations, but it's also just as possible that YouTube was given this information directly by someone, and they decided to take action. It is very possible that someone forwarded the information and they acted acted upon it, though YouTube aren't the easiest to get in contact with, so it's kind of hard to know. But the final real guess I have as to why YouTube took action in this situation is that it's likely that YouTube saw a video by me or someone else that presented this situation and the evidence for it. It's not unheard of YouTube watching drama videos. In fact, the CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, or Wojcicki, I don't know, has noted herself that she keeps up with drama content. So it's highly likely that YouTube saw either mine, Scrimzox's, or anyone else's video about this and took action. Knowing that when I post a video, YouTube will do a manual review to see if this content is suitable for ads, it's highly possible that the reviewer that watched my video forwarded the information along. But it is really just hearsay and guessing. It's good that YouTube took action, but I wish they were a little more clear on how you're supposed to publish these kind of claims for them to take action against them. But with that being said, I'm gonna end this video here. I believe this video has presented the whole situation to the best of my ability, and I believe this video has hopefully informed you. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to support more content on this channel, and feel free to check out my other social media like my Twitter down below if you'd like to see my opinions on things that don't really matter. Finally, feel free to check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me financially. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on this situation. I'll see you next time, and peace.
I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with a nigga like me. We can catch a fly. Said she wanna rock with a nigga like me.